Woo, okay. I am actually kind of excited for this one because this is the episode that I mentioned to my staff has the big surprise. And I'd like it to be known that any excess noise that you're hearing is me setting up everything because I just hit record on this and well I had it open, but then it decided to be a little bitch. So I have to go into the episode, make the thing on soundtrap. Okay, yeah, I get it. You can't load files. Me talking to a thing, not to you. Um, but yeah, this actually has another writer's name on it. My friend Odds. He wrote a section in this. I don't want to say which section until the episode is over. um, but yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see what he wrote. Um, and there are also parts that I did share with the staff that they found really funny, so I hope you guys find that funny too. Um, yeah, and other good news, I have some of episode 6 written up, and that should be coming out pretty soon, all things considered. I just don't know how I'm gonna do episode 7 though. That's like the only thing, because like I kind of have a vague idea on how to do episode 8, but like yeah, but that's a bridge we'll cross when we come to it. I can't even say half of the things that I'm planning right now because my brain is thinking all the way to like season 4. Like I have a plan now. I didn't before, but I have the entirety of seasons 1 and 2 like mapped out and done. Even some of the pre stuff, so it's easier for me to know what the hell is going on. like I My girlfriend actually brought this up with me. That it's like a thing where there's two different kinds of writers. One was just like, yeah, whatever, we'll cross these bridges when we come to it. And then the next it's like, if I don't plan every single thing, I will die. And I think I'm both. Because there's sometimes where it's like, yeah, free reign. Other times, like, these statements literally come to me from either people or in a dream. like, um, like for example, one of the later episodes, I think like episode 12 maybe, I forget. I'd have to look at the master doc again. But yeah, um, yeah. So that is episode 5. Hour. Enjoy. Statement of Angela Di Venero regarding an odd book she'd read. Original statement given 9th January 2018. Audio recording by Sage Newbert, head archivist of the Magnus Institute, previously stationed in London, but moved to Hastings in 2021. Statement begins. I've never been a reader. I always hated when we had to do it at school, since it felt more like an obligation rather than a fun way to learn. The only reason I even took an internship at the library was to work in the in-house cafe and sell mediocre coffee. Occasionally they had me at the register, or some bloke would ask me where the latest edition of a Dungeons and Dragons book was, because they thought I'd know. If blue hair and pins makes me a nerd, then so be it, I suppose. One fellow came to me while I was at the register. He was in tears one day, telling me they'd never come back again. I told him to calm down and asked if he wanted a manager. He threw the book he was holding at me. I bent down, picking it up from the dirty grounds of the library. Now that it was in my hands, I got a good look at it. It had one name in cursive, kept neatly in a box sticker. All it said? Leitner. No first name, initial, or anything. Hell, I assumed it was a pseudonym. The cover was strange. A couple of little shadowy figures surrounding Big Ben. As another one loomed over that sector, it said one thing: tick-tock on the clock. Weird, I thought, but for some reason I felt drawn to it. I snuck it in my tote bag and waited for the day to end. When it did, I entered my flat and began to read. It was one of those books where you'd press something and it'd make a noise, mostly to keep kids entertained. Press it, a voice in my head said. So I did. The blur of a clock chime filled my ears, then a click of its hands. I opened the book, and this is what it said. Tick-tock on the clock. Its hands tick forward, never on delay. You try to run, none truly get away. Once I finished the page, something clicked in my ear. No, not a click. A tick, like the second hand of a clock. And then again. Tick. A slow, constant tick, tick, tick. I didn't press the button. Sure, the thing could be broken. I pressed my ear to it. The noise wasn't from the book. It was from me. Inside me. But I couldn't stop. I turned the page. I had to. And that voice in my head rang in tune with the ticking, like it was tempting me. Gesturing me closer like you'd see on the tellies. Saturdays is a wee one. A second, a minute, an hour, a day. An unstoppable march forward, a debt you never repay. Taking from you slowly, ticking to your final day. Faster this time. Tick, tick, tick. But I still couldn't close it. My hands moved faster than my brain. I felt like I needed that next page more than I needed my next breath. Nomadic youth, riches, innocence, or crime, all turns to dust, and everyone, yes, everyone, runs out of time. A loud ding of a bell reverberated through me, the same one that had played when I pushed the button that first time. It was stuck in my ears, echoing endlessly until the ticking started again. Tick, 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 tick. It swung, an audible pendulum of a ticking louder than the church bells. I could feel myself dizzy, stumbling around as if I were drunk. I sat on the couch, barely able to hear my voice, heartbeat, or anything. It was just the repetitive sway of tick after tick after tick, bell after bell after bell. I looked at my hands holding the book, wondering, had my nails always been that long? I turned it over. The skin felt thin, much thinner than it had been a moment before. Almost like I was composed entirely of leather. I touched my skin and was met with that same wrinkled dent. The ringing became unbearable. I wanted to stop it. I needed to stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I ran to the kitchen the best I could, my life decreasing with each ding, taking the scissors on the desk and jamming them as far as I could right into my ear canal. I screamed. I know I did. My body froze, the adrenaline falling down, and my brain began to process what I had done. I dialed 999 so I wouldn't get an infection, lying about what I'd done to myself so they wouldn't ship me off to the funny farm. The rings died down on the ambulance, reducing to mild tinnitus and muffled chatter in the right ear. As we drove to hospital, I couldn't help but wonder why I wanted. No, wanted isn't honest. Why I needed to keep reading that book. Staring at the ceiling, I could see clocks dancing around and clicking inaudibly as the voices of doctors and nurses faded into mumbled ramblings about how I needed help, how I was likely an early-onset dementia patient having a breakdown, among other degrading things. I wanted to tell them they were wrong. Badly. But I figured the insistence of Please, you have to believe me. I was a young girl earlier this afternoon. Please. I just read some book I didn't know was cursed and now I look 60. Please, please, would further prove their points in their minds. So I opted to keep my mouth shut. I didn't feel good having to lie to them. Once they got me into the ER, they got the scissors out of my ears safely, wrapped my head in a bandage, and wheeled me off to stay. It was something about making sure I didn't hurt myself again, which, thankfully, the sound of ticking clocks had stopped for good while I was there, though. I did have slight tinnitus spells where I couldn't hear anything, even in my good ear, and becoming half-deaf was certainly an adjustment. Apparently, I had sunk the blade so deep into the canal where they couldn't fix it. Even with the surgical equipment, they couldn't do much. They told me, to my face, that there was nothing they could do, and that I'd be needing hearing aids for the rest of my life. They tried prying a story out of me at that point, but I blamed it on an accident helping my grandson with crafts, and I accidentally stabbed myself. I prayed they didn't ask the people who wheeled me in about that. It would have been bloody awkward. It wasn't so bad. They took care of me during my stay, and were overall much nicer than the doctors I had to deal with as a kid. I'd recommend the hospital if I could remember its bloody name. There was this nice woman there, too. Who told me about you all? F. something or other. She said she sent you her poetry. She was truly lovely. Tell her story like you're telling mine, would you? Statement ends. Leitner. I think I've heard that name before, but I certainly can't seem to recall it. Leitner. Ah, there we are! Jürgen Leitner. It says here that Mr. Leitner was a second-generation Norwegian immigrant who owned a library under a similar namesake, alternatively using the pseudonym of George Icarus, once he received backlash for books that were allegedly cursed. Apparently, Mr. Leitner worked closely with one Gertrude Robinson, according to an unfortunately anonymous source, most likely someone who worked at the Institute, either with or post Jürgen's death, which is... brutal pipe murder. Great! Lovely! Love to see it. Ugh. Yep. Certainly brutal, alright. Yeesh. So indented. The date of death was 16th February 2017. The killer, one Elias Bouchard, was finally caught and convicted of his crimes on 9th August of that same year. Mr. Leitner has only confirmed 2 of his relatives prior to his death, according to police transcripts, both unnamed and deceased. Any other information of his family, or mentioned familial history, is unknown. Before his demise, Leitner had been staying in the Institute with nothing but a book. How he survived all those years, I have no idea. Looking at the photo, it seems the death happened in our Institute. That is... wow! I love learning about this. With this new information, I believe that the book, crudely given to Steve Nero, is a concerningly similar copycat to the works Leitner kept in his library. Whether or not it's some sort of admirer or someone trying to recreate his works, I'm not sure. Alas, I cannot ask for Miss Steve Nero's opinion on the matter, because shortly after receiving this statement, she was diagnosed with dementia and passed the following year. My highest regards to your friends and family. I sort of know what it's like. Anyway, Where was I? Oh, right. In my opinion, this statement is worth bringing up with the folks in the London building. I'd like to read as much about this Leitner as I possibly can, just in case it becomes a bigger issue. From what I've learned in paranormal law, if a name sounds catchy and repetitive, it's most likely important. Given my profession, my gut is a thing I'd want to trust most. I'll contact Sasha and ask her opinion later. Recording ends.
Okay, so that was almost on par in length with episode 3, which, yay! I hope you guys liked it. I do have to say that the funnest lines to record was the Elias Bouchard line and the, brutal pipe murder. That was one of the ones that I sent early in the staff, channel, and one of the writers told me he cackled aloud reading it. Which, yippee! I did my job as the funny guy. Woo! Episode 6 should be coming out fairly soon. Imagine if I got it done like same day. And it's like the holy shit, 2 cakes meme that I keep seeing on Tumblr. I mentioned this to Kara's voice actor, KJ, and I haven't gotten a reply. This was like just now. I don't have Discord open anymore because the dinging gets in my feed. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next time. Oh, before I forget, Odds was the one who wrote the Leitner. I just edited it, some of it. Be nice to them, please. Pretty, please. I have my hands clasped behind the screen. Please. Okay, bye.